everyone, this is Dave from Mountbatten Estates, and today we've actually got Des Daly. Des is someone who a lot of you know already, a really good friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years, involved with lots of private investors, equity funding and debt funding, and connected with a lot of developers, and he kind of brings all the parties to the table. But Des is actually working on something very, very interesting right now. He's set up something which I think a lot of you will have a lot of interest in. And there's a new event he's running, brand new event in a brand new venue. And I thought it'd be quite prudent if we could try and maybe get Des on a call today, find out a little bit more about him, what the event entails, and also how that's going to benefit a lot of investors and developers, everyone who is struggling for equity and debt. So, Des, over to you. Kindly introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are, and let's try and find out a little bit more about this exciting event that you're doing.
Good afternoon, Dave. And I am in Homegrown, the private members club, right in the middle of Marylebone. Fabulous area in the garden here. So the event is going to be here on Monday, the 5th of August. So my background, I was a regulated financial advisor for over 25 years. Started with the Legal and General and then became an IFA in 1994. For the last 19 years now, I have actually been connecting developers with debt, mezz, and for what I'm well known for, equity. So I thought there is nothing in this space in London. I wanted to connect people with equity. So I thought the best way to do that is to set up a private members VIP equity club right in the middle of London. Make it very exclusive, VIP only invite equity partners that have produced in the past. I've raised over 110 million pounds of equity in 3 sectors: charity, film, and property. And actually, in the last 19 years, that has been about 21 million pounds of equity. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything's gone right. Not everything has gone well. And why I've set this club up is to give the information so younger property entrepreneurs are not going to make the same mistakes I made. And that's what I'm going to be sharing on the 5th. But what I'm going to be doing, Dave, I'm actually going to be bringing interesting entrepreneurs, far more experienced, far more cleverer than I am, to share the stage with me. So let me just tell you about the first event. Deri Llewellyn Davis is a serial entrepreneur, a Harvard graduate, a TED speaker, someone that I've known for over 16 years. We shared the board of the oldest networking lunch club in the UK. We were both directors of the Executive Association of Great Britain. Deri, an ex-Welsh rugby player with the name Deri Llewellyn Davis, that gives it away, and is an adventurer. He climbed up Mount Everest and he virtually got to the top. Unfortunately, an avalanche hit and he had to come down. He had the highest black tie dinner. He was raising money for the Sherpas that year. He's an adventurer, TEDx speaker, and a serial entrepreneur. He's mentored many, many professionals in the property space. I'm not going to mention their names, but these are serious entrepreneurs. So he's going to share his knowledge. He's the first speaker of the VIP Equity Club. He's also going to be giving away probably 20 or 30 of his books, Strategy on a Page, which is going to be released, 2nd edition, on Monday evening. So that's a little bit about the event. As I say, it's a VIP event. It will be from 6:30 till 11:30, because after the speakers, the bar will be open till 11:30. Actually, I've just been told 12:30. So it's a fabulous venue, and there'll be a huge amount of networking on the night. So there will be private equity guys that have raised money. I have a law firm that I've got access to. And that law firm have got 789 family offices that have just agreed only this week to allow the firm I'm now representing, InvestGrow Financial Services, based in Birmingham. I run the London, the South of England office, and we've got access to these family offices. Now, this is unheard of, but obviously they will be vetted through InvestGrow Financial Services. The plan in the future is to actually have a deal clinic in the afternoon, which in the afternoon we could look through these deals and decide whether they would be good enough to be potentially presented to the family office via the law firm. I'm not going to mention that law firm now, but there'll be a representative at the event on Monday. So that's a little bit about the event, Dave. I'm sure you've got plenty of questions you'd like to
I've got a load. So, Des, would it be fair to say that it's extremely difficult for the average developer to find and build a relationship with a family office? I mean,
well, I can tell you,
ideally,
the family offices have only certain fixers, they are called, that they go through. And those fixers potentially have to build a relationship. I've been fortunate to be working in this space for a very long time, over 20 years. I mean, I was only at an event this yesterday afternoon, which was hosted by one of my good friends, and you know him as well, an architect that also has got a background of rugby.
yeah.
And there was rugby players at this networking event, lovely restaurant in Richmond. And it's all about being in the right place with the right people, with the right connections and the right knowledge.
Yeah, that was a high caliber event. I mean, I saw some of the people attending, and you have to ask the question: when are you ever going to meet people like that? You know, so
Simon Shaw, who played rugby for England in the 2003 World Cup, Jordan Murphy, an Irish fullback that, well, you know, a legend. And the stories that they told yesterday, but the focus was business entrepreneurs. And I was fortunate to be there and also got an introduction to some other interesting people.
brilliant.
Also
Des,
be at the event.
a question I'd like to throw at you is, I mean, we've been connected a very long time, and you've helped me tremendously. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you, Des. Plain and simple. And I know some of the people that you've got attending as well, some of your investors. And I know, hand on heart, these people, they don't go networking. They don't go to a networking event. There is no reason, there is no situation you could ever potentially try and meet these people, because they just don't go to anything that we would probably end up going to. So it's these connections that you forged and harnessed and nurtured over, I mean, I know one of you guys who you've known for a good 30 years, and he's one of your people now that you're working with to come online, who's actually funding developers. And I just don't know of any other situation where someone like him would be introduced to other developers as like a funding line, a funding facility. So tell us a little bit more about why developers and anyone looking at funds for developments, whether it's equity or stretch or whatever it is. I mean, I know you've got some fantastic relationships for people funding planning and everything else as well. So why should people actually attend this event, and who is it ideally targeted for?
I think this is ideal. It's a very good question, actually, Dave, because you're right. I'll answer the first one. Whose is it? Well, who will be attending? And I can tell you already, there are people that I've known for many years, and you're probably talking about someone who I've known for 30 years, who we were recently at a very high caliber polo event called the Asia Polo Cup. I've known him for 30 years, and we met at a networking event at the Savoy when it was £45 for a 3-course lunch and as much wine as you could drink. And that guy's nurtured relationships. He took a very good call by bringing in the Indian polo players 22 years ago. At that time, we didn't have an Indian prime minister. We didn't have businesses that were doing work in all around the world, and we didn't have billionaires, more billionaires in the UK that were from India. And that was a great call he took, to bring over Indian businesses from India and to do vice versa, take English businesses to India. So being at the right events and actually being at private members clubs like Homegrown, Home House, and other upmarket events. So you meet people that are members of these associations, these clubs, where now this will be my second event I'll be hosting here. I've got a relationship with here where I'm now, today, I've just signed a contract for 2 more other events. The sort of people that will be here will be other developers. There will even be some SaaS investors. There'll be some investors that are looking to just network with people that they can know, like, and trust. And that doesn't happen on the first meeting. You tend to meet someone, and the golf that we've spent a lot of time on, you play golf with someone, you're spending 4 or 5 hours with them. So building relationship with people do take a long time. So this event is going to be for people that are wanting to network in circles where they wouldn't normally be able to network in. And I'm going to talk about family offices. Family offices are an organization that are predominantly looking for a way to preserve their wealth. They're not looking for high risk investments. They have got hundreds of millions of pounds, and they want to make sure that that wealth is preserved. They don't want risky investments. But being in the right place at the right time with the right connections is something that I've been lucky. I've just been in the right place at the right time 2 or 3 times in my life. And that's elevated me to be able to share my knowledge and also share those connections with young entrepreneurs that I maybe want to guide and teach them to not make the same mistakes I've made in the past, because it never goes right in property. And that's what we're here for, really, isn't it? Property.
Yes, you say it's luck, but I'd probably challenge that, because luck will only take you so far. It's your perseverance in terms of going out there, consistently networking, going into the SaaS groups, the equity groups, the debt groups, the pensions, the family offices, all the different types of networking. And it's not just property networking you do a whole host of other different types of networking as well, which we could go on forever with. But it's drawing upon all those networks, all those different networking events, all those relationships you've built and cultivated over many, many years and decades. And this is like an accumulation of everything, isn't it? So where it's taken you 10 years to build these relationships and bring them to the event, you're probably streamlining someone's process of 10 years worth of hard graft, going out there, finding and building these relationships,
Dave,
and you've done it already.
40 years.
I didn't want to say 40 years, because then that would be giving away your age, and I didn't want to do that.
I started networking when I was 21, actually, and that I was a very young person with Legal and General, and I was fortunate I had a fantastic mentor in my father. But I met people like Theo Pathetis, who also worked for Legal and General. And it's unusual to meet these characters over the years. I worked with a guy called Kevin Whelan that is well renowned in the SaaS world. I've had the fortunate situation to share an office with him for 9 years, travel the world with him. And these people, they all do different things, but we've all still meet each other and associate with each other. I want to bring different speakers to the event. I want to bring people that have got knowledge, but also people that are doing things in a different way. I mean, we've now been fortunate that the base rate has now come down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's going to bring confidence back to the market, and also hopefully now we've got valuers that will start valuing stuff at a decent level. I'm fortunate now that I work with InvestGrow Financial Services, been in the business for 20 years, owned by a chap called Akash Rajput, a serial entrepreneur, has a portfolio himself, and a great business entrepreneur. So whereas before I was arranging equity with developers, now we look at it from a debt point of view. It gets looked at that way. If it passes that situation, then it may also then pass an equity funding criteria.
Can I ask you a question? You've touched on equity, and you've touched on it takes time to build those relationships. Now, I see this quite often where a developer finds a site and then he needs equity quite quickly, but he hasn't built the relationships with the investors. So quite often they actually lose the development because they can find the debt, but they just can't find the equity that easily. You know, it's not as if equity grows on trees. Now, you mentioned something quite apt earlier, which is like takes time to cultivate that kind of relationship and nurture it and bring it to the forefront. Would you suggest that it's now people should be building relationships with you to get those wheels in motion, even if they don't have a development? It's probably an even better scenario. Why? By building a relationship with you and getting mixed up with you and your relationships and your contacts and your investors, and creating a situation where they can tap into equity and it's readily available because they have jumped through all the hoops before they have a site. Wouldn't that be a good position to be in? I can find the site knowing that Des can actually get me the debt quite easy, but also he's been helping me with the equity as well. And you know, that's in place for me to tap into as soon as I need it, as opposed to the other way around, which everyone does. I'll find the site, and then I'll go out and try and find the equity and debt. And unfortunately, guess what? The equity just takes time to come to fruition.
Okay, so obviously I'm going to say yes, everyone should connect with me. The only problem is I only have so many hours in the day. I'm lucky I've got a wife as a health coach, so I don't look my age. I know that, and a lot of people I meet say they can't believe that I'm the age I am. So I've been lucky that my wife's a health coach, and in the future she will be given a stage to explain how she can keep me so young. And it's a routine, isn't it? Like yourself, you get up early. We both get up early. We exercise. We have a routine, and you stick to that routine. Exercise every day if you can. But building relationships is one of the most important aspects. When you go networking, a very good friend of mine called Motal Islam, I was at a networking event with him for 5 months, and he came up to me once and said, "Oh my God, it's taken me 5 months to come and talk to you. I'm shy. I wanted to do that." But the thing is, the more you talk to people, the more you go to the same events, you get to meet people, you get to build those relationships, and more people know what you do, then you can get yourself ready. I say getting yourself investable is one of the most important aspects. I have taught people in the past about how to become investable, and it's not something I have a lot of time for these days, because I'm always getting people that are asking me to mentor me on a one-to-one basis, but that is very difficult because it takes time. Maybe in the future that might happen, but it's important to build the relationships. They always say once you get a decent deal, the money will follow. But the problem is it doesn't always follow in the same order. I think you know that yourself.
And it doesn't happen quick enough either, Des. You know, you find a deal and they tell you go out and raise the funds, but unless it's there readily available, If it's going to take too long, you're going to lose the deal, and that happens more often than not.
That's right, but I think there's lots of different ways, and sometimes you might have to use crowdfunding. It depends at what stage you are at. So if you are networking all the time, I mean, I still go to 3 networking events a week. This week, for the last 2 weeks, it's been 4. And the thing is, what I say is, if you know your elevator pitch, you can network wherever you go all the time. People will ask you what you do, and social media is a great way of showing what you do. The golf club, become the best golfer you can, because you're going to meet the right people at the golf club. Go to other networking events, not just property. I mean, I'm giving away a lot of my mentoring.
You're giving all the tips away,
But
Des, for free.
I am, but that's true. But at the end of the day, always network, always find investors, and make sure that those investors are really kept up to date with what's going on. I hear some crazy stories where people don't even answer phone to someone that they might own.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the event, it's the first one. It will grow. There's a bit of space for probably about another 30 people in the room, but I want to keep it to about 60, 70 for the first one. I know that there is 35 people booked already, and I've only yesterday put this out on social media. So I know that now this is going out on your platform. And as you know, we've worked together for many years. You devised that fabulous system where, with your knowledge in planning and the VAs you've got 200 developers you mentor around the country. Again, I was fortunate that I met some private equity firms at the last Polo event, and they're interested in planning game. Now, that's pretty unheard of, but they want to meet individuals. A lot of them are all away in August, and that's why I've decided to do this event on the 5th. And on the 21st of August, I've got the Investor Property Beginners Golf Society at Hampton Court, which is where it all started for us.
It did, yeah.
That's where you met your JV partner as well.
No, I think it was Bletchley at your dad's course.
Oh, that's right. Yes, in Bletchley.
Yeah. Would it be fair to say, Des, that this is totally unique? I don't know of any other event that's come before it or after it that brings equity investors to the table and introduces them to people. Because,
well, to be honest, Dave, I'm not going to let anyone put a big sign on their head, I'm an equity investor. They'll be in the room, but they'll be very quiet. And there is going to be a vetting process. People that will be arriving will be actually, I'm fortunate that people that will be here will have a fee agreement signed, so that anyone that meets people in the room, that if it's equity, it will be, they have to pay for it, which we can't bring people together and expect there be no fee agreement in place. Otherwise, I'll be shooting myself in the foot.
To be honest with you, whatever that looks like, I think it's nearly a given. You nearly pay for whatever it takes to bring that shortfall in, to fund the full capital stack, whatever that missing gap is. I don't think you can. Dave, I don't think you can put a price on that.
That's right, and I think I did a lot of gap finance business, and it's like the movie doesn't get made without the last piece of the jigsaw. And as you know, that's also correct with seems to be a lot of people walking around here, but it's a very family oriented family oriented club. So that piece is the most important bit. That bit can't get done.
And the amount of work, honestly, if you think of the amount of work that it takes, I have a full-time job at the moment trying to sort finance out for developments. It's nearly, it takes over my life in terms of the amount of effort and the amount of time dedicated is to raise those finance, to raise that whole capital stack. And you're shortcutting that whole process, aren't you? You know, that one contact that you can introduce could be game changing for that developer.
So that's true, Dave, and that's one of the things that I'll touch upon on Monday night. The capital stack is one of the most important things for developers to understand, because they're out there looking for investors. And if they don't understand the capital stack and they want an equity investor, if they offered them now 8%, really, you're getting 4.5% in the bank at no risk.
Yeah.
So they've got to understand what the difference is, MES, equity, and a lot of equity now is what is called MES, because it might be, say, 2% a month, for example. Well, that's not equity, that's MES, because that's got a coupon.
Yeah.
But a lot of equity partners are looking at securing their equity with a coupon, because there have been some problems in the past. I'm not going to name who they are, but there's been problems with lots of developers going bust. Indeed, having it secured now is the way forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I was with a developer this afternoon, and a very good friend of mine I met at a SaaS event many years ago. And that family do not use debt. They fund it all themselves, cash. And they do that purely because they don't want to borrow. And that brings me to something else, which I'll touch upon, a Sharia compliant fund, which again is unheard of. Sharia compliant, I'm not going to go into it now, but it's a new way of funding opportunities.
And again, that's quite unique as well, to be opened up into Western Europe and also non-Muslims.
Absolutely. They'll do a buy-to-let for $500,000, only to the Muslim community, but they will then also, they're looking for sites that are outside the M25 that are mainly for student housing.
And this is another contact that you've had for, you've had this contact for what, 20 plus years?
Actually 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah. Someone I met in 92. So yes, it's 30. I met the person in 92, 93.
And again, fair to say that this person, you'd never ever meet him in any other walk of life unless it was an introduction from you.
Well, I was fortunate on my 50th birthday. I had lunch with him in Dubai, in his villa, which was quite spectacular. But I was fortunate. I'd raised quite a lot of money for some land in Dubai, and he was there. So yeah, and he's been so creative and probably has got one of the largest forestry businesses in the whole of Western East Africa.
Yeah.
But he may be there. I'm not sure.
Sure.
But I won't be telling people his name.
So Des, for anyone who's watching this, obviously there's going to be people who will catch it on the social medias and online and what have you. I'll make sure that all your contact details are in the description and underneath, and there'll be, I assume there's a link to click, maybe to go to Eventbrite. How can we book a ticket?
Basically, anyone. I'd like to know who would like to attend, so they can just find me on social media, Facebook Messenger, Desmond Daly, or you can share my mobile, or I'm happy for you to share my email address.
Sure.
And I like to just know who's coming.
Sure.
Purely because I want to make sure there's no
the right caliber. Yeah, exactly, the right caliber. Indeed.
It's a private member, and I want to keep it to that situation.
Indeed, I mean, there'll be rules and regulations with the club as well, you know, in terms of who you can. Yeah,
absolutely. 6 o'clock to 7, drinks at the bar. I will be buying the first drink for every participant. I'm happy for you to share the cost of the event on social media.
Sure.
And it's a pity you're not able to attend, but you'll probably be here in spirit.
Yeah, we will, 100%.
Or maybe you will attend if you have a few more hot toddies before Monday.
Yeah, if I can flush it out, I will, 100%.
Absolutely.
So, Des, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure catching up. I'll get this shared with everyone. I'll make sure your contact details are below as well, so they can reach out and contact you directly. But like I said, look, I've known you for many, many years. You've helped me, in raising funds, connecting me with people, helping get sites across the line. And this is effectively what you do as a business, connecting the right people with right people, bringing that shortfall or that missing link, that missing, part of the puzzle that you bring to the table. And it's effectively about getting more deals done, isn't it?
Yeah. But Dave, I'll give you the other dates as well. 20th of September is going to be another new event. I don't think there's any of those about. Funky Friday.
Okay.
Homegrown.
Okay.
It's going to be a bit of music, a bit of dancing.
Yeah.
Business owners on a Friday, instead of going home, can come here at Homegrown, have a few drinks in a relaxed environment, may even have a DJ. I think I've got someone that is arriving in a minute, actually. He's a musician.
Okay.
I met at a property networking event, got a few sites he wants me to talk about. And he plays a bit of music. I think he's a saxophone player. So that's the 20th of September. And then the 7th of October is going to be another VIP Equity Club. A couple of spaces left for the Epsom RAC Golf, mainly for developers.
Yeah, we've played there a few times, haven't we?
Absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I had the best game of golf there, didn't I? With you.
You did. You did. I
I
saw
won't
it firsthand.
that again. But yeah, thanks a lot, and have a fantastic afternoon, evening.
Brilliant.
If I was here, we'd be having a little something
cheeky wine. A cheeky wine. Indeed. Good. Thank you so much, Des. And I'll make sure you connect with everyone that we're connected with. And like I said, I know it'll be a fantastic event. It always is. And it's something you're going to be running quite semi-regularly, aren't you?
Probably every month by the time I think it happens on Monday night.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Lovely. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. And if you need any help or you need any connections to Des, I'll make sure his details are provided below, or you can reach out to me and I'll put you guys together. Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, and look forward to catching up with you. Yeah, lovely. Cheers, Des. All the best. Bye for now.